Frameworks, The Price of Delusion. Welcome to the book that will give you understanding of why the UFOs have come throughout history and why we've been visited several times by these UFOs that purport to be from faraway galaxies. Let's find out what really happened. September 1952 at Dragon's Triangle in the Pacific near the Philippine Sea, 6:25 a.m., Chapter 1. The moonlight danced gently off the ocean's waves. Uneven fog banks began to form dark paths out to the horizon. The early morning breeze felt refreshing as it mixed with the salty air. The waves were unusually gentle. The sounds of crewmen scrubbing the deck and speaking in Japanese could be heard starboard. Just above the anchor of the ship was the name written in Japanese, Kyomaru No. 5. The 31-member crew was busy conducting a hydrographic survey of the region. They had been traveling at a slow and steady pace since about 4 a.m. that morning. Every crewman was evenly dispersed throughout the ship and carrying out his assigned duty. Everything was normal, it seemed, until the radar room started picking up a large signal. As the Japanese crew member on radar duty alerted several others to what he was seeing, the compass began to spin and lights began to momentarily flicker. Another crewman confirmed the radar image for himself and immediately sent word to the captain. The captain, who responded from the bridge, went outside on deck to get a visual. As he looked in disbelief, he saw a huge, square-like dark mass rising up slowly out of the water. The dark mass then quickly picked up speed and the ship began to rock from its displacement of the water waves. The other men on the ship's main deck also braced themselves while they began to see the large mass emerging like an upside-down black-colored iceberg, with its tip still in the water. As its tip reached the surface, the water began to calm again. The mass resembled an upside-down pyramid. It appeared to be about the size of 2 football fields at the top, and a bluish light began to arise from its bottom. As more and more crew members began to go outside to check out what was going on, the light seemed to pulsate and get bigger. The captain then came out again on the bridge with his binoculars to take a closer look. The texture of the mass appeared to be made of some kind of stone. Within a span of minutes, it had risen hundreds of feet out of the water. There was a humming sound in the air that appeared to be connected to its source of power. At least 2/3 of the crew members now had gone to the surface of the deck to see the anomaly. There were a few men talking amongst themselves, but most were completely enthralled by the monstrous pyramid-shaped object as it began to clear itself fully above the ocean's waves. The captain and his crew member were very nervous. They had previously heard of the stories and strange happenings in this area known as the Devil's Sea. As the object finally cleared the water, they began to notice a smaller right-side-up pyramid at the upside-down apex of the first one. The smaller pyramid seemed to be the source of the pulsating bluish light. The pulsations and the humming sounds of this bluish light began to get a little louder and more intense as the object drew closer. The light being emitted from the pyramid created a hypnotic effect on everyone aboard who was looking at it. Suddenly, the blue light exploded outward and individual beams went out from the light. Each beam was directed at a crew member's head. The light was consistently pulsating and waves of blue energy began to emanate along the beams and into the crewmen's heads. Some of the beams penetrated the hull and found the remaining crew that was still inside the ship. Every single crew member, including the captain, became fully interfaced with the blue beams of light. All of the crew members at once then dropped their hands to their sides, no matter what they were doing. At first, they were just being involuntarily mesmerized. Then, within a few seconds, their minds became entirely hijacked by the beam's overpowering grip. While the bluish pulsating light continued, a holographic greenish-gray-like plank quickly began to issue out from a door that had opened at the apex of the upside-down pyramid, about 100 feet above the upside-down apex itself. The holographic plank reached the ship's deck just over the railing, and then stairs began to form under the plank to the deck itself. When the plank was fully extended and the steps were in place, the bluish pulsating beams stopped. One by one, in this oceanic eeriness, the crew members began walking the holographic plank that led to the door of the upside-down pyramid. The procession went on for about 20 minutes until every crew member had left the ship and the plank was retracted. The door on the pyramid closed, and then it slowly sunk back into the sea, with the ship's crew never to be seen of or heard of again. Dawn arrived, and the unmanned ship drifted involuntarily into the unknown fog.